All right, man, peace. So, in the aftermath of the Philadelphia Eagles' victory over the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52, the city of Philadelphia has been hit with fans who are exulting in finally being football champions. And we see what we normally see when a certain city's sports teams are victorious. We're seeing borderline rioting, foolish behavior, stupidity, destroyed property, so on and so forth. They're going to cover this in this segment here. They're also going to interview Eagles tight end Zach Ertz. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
I'm John Dickerson with Gail King and Nora O'Donnell. Not recommended to do that with babies.
No, people are very excited. I actually saw one interview, guys, where a man said that this was the best day of his life, including when he got married and had children. And I'm thinking, if I was your wife and your children, I'd be a little jawed up right now.
If you was his wife, you wouldn't say shit. You'd just be happy to have a husband, Gail. Just that man look at you and say, look, I'm paying the mortgage. Just, if I tell you that a duck can pull a truck, just shut the fuck up and hook it up.
Yeah. Die-hard Eagles fan. Die-hard is.
The Philadelphia Eagles are soaring this morning on top of the football world.
Flares out to the right, caught over the middle, and into the end zone. Zach Ertz for the touchdown.
The Eagles knocked off the New England Patriots last night, beating the defending champions 41-33 in Super Bowl 52.
But the Eagles fans had to hold their breath until Tom Brady's last pass fell incomplete. In the end zone, 30 seconds, a long time. In Brady world, they waited a long time for this 57 years since the team's last NFL championship.
Once again, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. They were certainly the better team. They deserved to win. But one must wonder, had it been the New England Patriots who had a touchdown scored in the back of the end zone, which normally is called a non-catch or has been throughout the regular season, and also Mr. Zach Ertz, who dove into the end zone in a play that was very, very similar to, but not exactly like, the quote-unquote touchdown that was scored by Jesse James of the Pittsburgh Steelers against New England earlier this year in the regular season, which got called back. I wonder how the quote-unquote NFL fans would have responded if it was the Patriots who had scored those two touchdowns, and they were scored touchdowns when they had not been called touchdowns throughout the regular season. I'm sure that we would have heard that the fix was in and that everything is being done according to gematria by the numbers. But since a certain team won that the majority of NFL fans wanted to win, we're not going to hear much of it. The fact of the matter is that, once again, does numerology play a very high role in this society? Absolutely. But to believe that most of these NFL players are able to ritualistically make sure that exact scores come out exactly how the chief magicians of this society would like scores to come out to cause a certain vibration over the people in commemoration of the pagan gods, no, that's kind of ludicrous. Now, is there point shaving that gets involved in many of these athletic contests? Sure. You have certain prominent players who may be in on point shaving and things of that nature. But to let a lot of the high-level numerological experts on YouTube or on the internet tell you the coach will bring in someone off the end of the bench to make sure that the league gets cut to 4 so that the exact score can be promoted and so on and so forth. Now, what most of those people have in common is that they know a little bit about a little bit. They don't know enough about anything to speak on it with authority. But anyway, once again, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sure that the New England Patriots will be back. And let's see what they have to say. Congratulations to Coach Peterson also. He did a great job.
When the game was over, thousands of fans packed the streets of Philadelphia to celebrate. Some of them climbed on anything they could find, including an awning that collapsed outside a hotel.
Look at that dumb shit. This is why I say my channel is not a fan channel, because fans are idiots. They do dumb shit like this. All right. Who the hell's going to climb on top of an awning 30 deep and then be surprised when it collapses? People could have died there. Now, what if there was someone standing underneath that awning? That's how dumb people are. The larger the group or the larger the mass gathering of people, the higher the stupidity quotient is.
DeMarco Morgan is in Philadelphia, where a cleanup is underway and parade plans are in the works. DeMarco, good morning.
Yeah, this is a borderline riot. Look at all the property damage.
Good morning to you. After decades of heartbreak, last night's win set off a celebration this city hasn't seen in years.
Mr. DeMarco Morgan does not come off to me as a football fan.
Years.
Super Bowl champions, Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The joy heard in longtime Eagles announcer Merrill Reese's voice was echoed throughout the city of Philadelphia.
Once again, this shows you why sports is such an important aspect of this society. In ancient Rome, they had a slogan pertaining to certain things that were used to keep the masses of people, who they called the plebeians, distracted. It was known as bread and the circus. Back in the ancient world, they didn't have television, so they made sure that attending the theater was an important part of the average Roman's life. They would go to the theater almost every day. That's where they would see their shows. That's where they would see their sporting events. The sporting events in the ancient world were viewed as ritualistic, much like they are today. They just don't let the people know that. This is why sports fans have an almost religious level of devotion to certain athletes, teams, etc. For many people in America, their sports team is their religion. When you see how a lot of these quote-unquote Philadelphia Eagles fans are conducting themselves, it's obvious that being a quote-unquote fan of the Philadelphia Eagles is a religious experience for them. That's why they go into a sense of frenzy when their team wins. It's a lot like the orgiastic rites and rituals when you study what certain adherents to the practices or the commemoration of Bacchus, how they would engage in orgies and revelry and so on and so forth, what they call libations involving wine, etc., etc. Go back in history and you'll find that the sporting events of the ancient world were closely tied to the worship of Osiris and Saturn and so on and so forth.
In a city obsessed with sports, decades of frustration was released on the streets.
You see the bonfire? People might say, why do they burn bonfires when these teams win these events, Super Bowls and World Series and NBA championships? Because the bonfire is in veneration of Tammuz. Remember, fire worship goes back to the ancient world, whether it be Zoroaster or Tammuz, so on and so forth, the god of fire. That's what the name Zoroaster literally means, the seed of fire, or the seed of the woman. That term Aster meant both woman, it also meant fire. All right, so Zoroaster, Zoro means seed. That's where you get the character of Zorro from, by the way. That Zorro represents Heru, just in another form, or Osiris. Because remember, Heru is just the avatar of Osiris. That's why Zorro, by the way, he wears what? The all black. Okay? So the term Zorro, also known as zero, means the seed. That's why the number 0 looks like a seed, like that kind of elliptical shape. Okay? But when you see the bonfires at these events, it is in commemoration of Tammuz. Once again, the sporting events were always ritualistic in the ancient world.
Famous for their sometimes unruly behavior, fans set off fireworks, toppled cars, and damaged buildings.
Now, all those motherfuckers supposed to be getting arrested, every last one of them. That is property damage. That's disturbing the peace, but that shows you that the powers that be will take a blind eye when it is a certain type of people that are causing the ruckus, and depending on the reason that they're causing it. That's why I say, when you understand the societal issues, and you understand the structure of society and sociology, etc., then you stop trying to impose a level of quote-unquote equality on a society. When you accept how things are It alleviates a lot of the angst and the anguish. So-called black people, to make a long story short, they keep trying to force the powers that be to view what they do, whether it be a riot or what have you, as a manifestation of frustration. But when the Caucasian will riot for a sports team, they wonder how come they're not held to the same standard. Because the reasoning is different. It's understood by the police, by law enforcement, that it's not purposefully meant to destroy property. And besides that, there's a certain level of expression that is given to the Caucasian that's not given to you. It just is what it is. If we want to get understanding, we have to have our own. We have to have our own society. Certain people might not like that. That's okay. I deal with reality. I don't deal with pretense and bullshit. You don't have to like it. It's okay.
People would expect us to actually burn down the city, and I don't know, it seems like people just celebrating in the streets.
Yeah, celebrating in the streets, jumping up on crossing lights and flipping over cars and tearing down hotel awnings and setting bonfires. Sure. I saw another fan that was eating horse manure. Kevin Hart's stupid ass tried to bum rush his way to the top podium where the Eagles were accepting their trophy. He was drunk out of his mind. This is a guy who, by the way, has a history of drunkenness and, was involved in a DUI a couple years ago where he was forced to state that he was going to start to cut off his drinking. He clearly has not done that. So we'll see what happens down the line with him. Many of your top comedians are dealing with multiple personality disorder and a lot of depression issues. Most of your top comedians are inwardly depressed. Kevin Hart, to me, is no doubt about that. He's also a Saturnian, but I'll be doing another video on that down the line in regards to Saturnian Hollywood. But let's see what they have to say about this. It looked like Joe Carter's about to hit his home run. I remember this like it was yesterday.
Suffered more than its fair share of defeats. Joe Carter broke their hearts in the 1993 World Series.
Phillies had a good squad that year. Lenny Dykstra and Darren Daulton and all those other juice heads on the Phillies back in 93. I think the only one who wasn't on the juice on that team was John Kruk, his fat ass.
Down the middle of the field. And they came up short against a young Tom Brady in Super Bowl 39.
And for the Philadelphia Eagles, the long drought is over.
After the final play, even hometown celebrities like Kobe Bryant couldn't contain their excitement.
Look at stupid ass Kobe, jumping up and down with his baby daughter in his hand. Don't you know how fragile a child's spine is at that age? All that shit because they got to put it on the gram. And I know some of Kobe's fans are gonna get mad. Oh, he's hating on Kobe again. No, I'm not hating on no damn Kobe. It's just a certain way that you have to conduct yourself. You're going to celebrate. You have a little baby in your arms. Give your baby to your wife, and then you could jump up and down like a fool for the gram.
Sylvester Stallone, whose Rocky character is beloved in Philly, posted
Yeah, his Rocky character is based off of Haru.
A celebratory picture on Instagram writing, "Yo Eagles, you did it." Much like Rocky, this team embraced the underdog role.
Man, everybody counted us out. We got the toughest group in the NFL, man. This was the most improbable. People are going to try to act like it wasn't improbable, so they don't have to be wrong, but a lot of people were wrong.
I agree with that. I certainly did not think that the Eagles were going to win the world championship. Looking at Nick Foles, I did not think that they were going to win the world championship, not with him at quarterback. It didn't shock me that they beat Atlanta at home. It kind of didn't shock me that they beat Minnesota. I knew that Minnesota was going to be on the downslide after that miraculous victory over the Saints. But this one was a bit of a surprise. Not even so much that they won, just in Foles' performance. He was exceptional, particularly in the last two games. Like he was extremely exceptional. But if I was to be asked before the playoffs if I thought that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl, I would have said no. So, yes, I agree with Mr. Kyle Long that their victory was improbable.
And now they got to deal with that.
All right, now comes the cleanup, and they might want to wait until after Wednesday. That's when Eagles fans will celebrate their team with a parade. Gail, back to you.
DeMarco, thank you. Eagles tight end Zach Ertz scored the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 52. You saw it, I know. It came with just over 2 minutes left in the game, finishing a 75-yard drive to put the Eagles in front for good. Zach Ertz joins us from Bloomington, Minnesota. I'll bet you haven't been to sleep tonight. Good morning to you and congratulations, Zach Ertz. We're so glad you're here.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Now listen, you guys were the underdogs, but somebody forgot to tell your team you weren't supposed to win last night.
Let me say this about Zach Ertz. He's one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. He's an exceptional tight end.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the whole playoff run has kind of been like this. Starting against the Falcons, we were the first number 1 seed to be the underdogs at home. And then even, I think it was 2 weeks ago against the Vikings, we were underdogs again. And then this game, we were underdogs again. And
much credit to you guys. I thought that the whole shtick with the dog masks and all that other stuff, I thought that was tacky. It was corny. And I thought that it was going to lead to them getting defeated. And I definitely was wrong about all that. So all credit to them, especially the way in which they won. Once again, it surprised me how great they were on offense, especially Nick Foles.
I think it was kind of a rallying thing for our team, for the city. I mean, the city of Philadelphia is all about the underdog.
Listen, it looked fun to watch you guys, but I'm wondering what you were thinking. Just watching while the refs were reviewing that call, what were you thinking? Because they seem to take a very long time.
He should have been thinking that they were going to overturn it because that's been their protocol for the majority of the season. He talked about how Philadelphia is a city of underdogs. Yeah, it's because Philadelphia has an inferiority complex to New York. I mean, let's just be for real. Philadelphia has an inferiority complex to New York, okay? I know I'm going to get a bunch of people from Philly in my comments. But, look, it is what it is. Philadelphia is a great city, I'm sure. But the issue is a lot of these cities on the eastern seaboard, they have an inferiority complex to New York. And cities are just like people. When they have those type of complexes, it's because they don't spend enough time worrying about the good things that they have to offer. Don't worry about New York. New York has its good parts and its bad parts. But New York is modern-day Rome, for those of you who don't know. New York City is to this country what Rome was to the Roman Empire. That's why they have the UN here. Right, I'm just speaking from a logistical perspective right now. They have the UN here because New York is looked at as really the epicenter of the world, really.
Yeah, it seemed like an eternity, honestly. I didn't really know what they were looking at the time. To me, it seemed pretty obvious. But when they were reviewing it for that long, I mean, that's when doubt seeps in just a little bit.
Zach, on a play like that, and you also had a crucial 4th down play.
Look, I'm happy that they called it a touchdown. I'm just saying that throughout the season, that's the type of play that they may have overturned. But even just looking at the play overall, there's no point where he even allowed the ball to touch the ground. Even though the ball popped out, he recovered it without it having to touch the ground. And I just hope that the plays that they allowed with Clement and Ertz carry over into next season and they stop being so anal about catches.
Are you just reacting and then it goes by in a blur? Or what were you thinking in that moment when you caught the ball and you saw the end zone right in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of all the reaction, all the preparation that's gone into this year. It started in April last year, and it's just been a continuation of things. We practice so hard each and every day as a team. I think we practice harder than probably any NFL team. It's pretty remarkable what we do on the practice field each and every week, and at that point, it's all reaction.
Tom Brady is the king of comebacks. What was going through your mind as the Patriots took the lead for the first time with 9 minutes to go?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get in a shootout with that guy, that's definitely not the ideal situation. That guy is the greatest quarterback to ever walk the earth.
Well, that's arguable. I'd take Joe Montana.
He probably will be for a long, long time. So, I mean, when they scored and we're down 1 with, I think, 9 minutes to go in the game, we had all the confidence in the world, though.
We have to talk about wife Julie because she's a champion, too. I love the video of her crying when she found out that you guys made it to the Super Bowl. Please, and at one point you said she's the best athlete in the family. I'm dying to know what you guys did last night. She was so happy for you.
Oh, yeah.
What you mean you want to know what they did last night? He won the title and then he went home. She's supposed to be a soccer player, right? He went home and he scored a goal. I mean, shit.
She was so happy she was able to be here out in Minnesota for this game. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, her not being there was extremely tough. And then watching her show how happy she was for me, it was definitely emotional for me as well. But she was out here. We were able to celebrate together.
Well, that's great. Well, I know your team partied last night. Did you have some dilly-dilly?
Oh, yeah, we had some.
Hey, Nora, stop talking all freaky on the morning news. The hell you want to know if he got some dilly-dilly? First, Gail asking him what he did with his wife last night. Now you asking him about dilly-dilly. Couple damn freaks on the morning news.
Yeah, we had some Philly for sure. I know Lane Johnson is kind of in charge of that call, so we're excited to get back to Philly and kind of enjoy it with all of our fans.
I know. Enjoy. A lot of people are very happy for you this morning, and I can't imagine what they're doing in Philly today. Zach Ertz, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me.
He's a great guy, you know.
How you know him? How you know he's a great guy? People love saying shit like that. Do you know him? You don't know him. Only his wife could say he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
About him.
Yeah.
And his wife, too.
You know,
player.
I'm just reading.
Yeah. His wife is great, too. She's a soccer player. You wouldn't know her from a damn pile of shit in the street. Just stop it, Gail. Just say, you know what, it's good. He won the title. He goes home to his wife. They could live, hopefully, for them happily ever after. You don't know if he's good or if she's good.
Just reading because Brady threw Tom Brady. He said
We know which Brady you're talking about.
Thank you, Gail. You finally said something smart. Nora with her dizzy ass. She spent the whole game watching Tom Brady butt naked on the couch, finger popping herself probably. That's all she do is think about damn Tom Brady. You supposed to be married with like 2 or 3 kids, Nora. Get over it. Tom is with Giselle. I mean, shit, it's not gonna happen for you.
You didn't think it was Brady Washington.
Nor the Brady Bunch, really. Here's the story.
But what did Tom Brady do?
He threw for over 500 yards, but both teams, it was such an offensive firework. Both teams threw for over 1,100 yards. That is the most yards in any NFL game, including the regular season and playoffs. So,
all right, cool story, but the Patriots and your boy Tom lost. All right, that's what it should say at the bottom of that report.
So they both played spectacularly. They really
For
did.
people who said, I don't know about both teams, but I want an exciting game, that's what they got.
Absolutely. We got it in spades. The president.
But anyway, yes, it was a very exciting game, very entertaining. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Peace.